Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Iron Legion for Dying Light 1 and 2. My name is Jason, the creator of the mod, and thank you so much for stopping by for another episode. I've got another big release that was just dropped on the Nexus along with new Patreon content, and I'm really excited about this update, guys. So this was a thought that I had the other day that I was like, can I do this really quickly? And it turns out not only can I do it, I'm actually really excited about what it brings to the storytelling of the game and how players are able to interact with this new feature. So with the latest release, 1.3H, I've introduced a new feature called Pathways. And what Pathways is the ability to load into the game, start a brand new fresh save game with kits. So the idea is that if you want to select a new background or kind of a new approach to the game, you don't want to start out with absolutely nothing in your inventory, you have a couple of options now that will allow you to quickly jump into the game and modify the gameplay to your play style based on how fast you want to get into the good stuff. So what I've done is on my desktop here, I've got the new installer. I wanted to just quickly cover a few basics just so you guys were aware, and then we'll dive right in and I'll show you guys some of this new content. So the idea here is that with the new installer, just please be aware that I have updated the installer to where it is going to try to look in your directory after you've installed and you run the uninstaller. I've got a new uninstaller included with this latest installer, and it's going to try to go and actually remove those data packs if you've installed them previously. So when you get to this next step, if you've installed before, it is always going to remember these data packs you've selected. And I've looked into the code and kind of looked at my options for going in there and being able to remove these optionals. Say you like install an optional and then you come in and you uncheck it and you check something else. Technically, I could go in there and actually start shredding data packs if you did this. So like while you're doing this selection, it could say like, oh, okay, if you've installed this before, you selected something else, you hit next, it removes your other options. I don't really want to go down this path because I'm worried it's going to accidentally shred your other mods. So for now, I'm just leaving it as is. So for any optionals that you're installing into your game, you will need to use that pathway to go identify where those mods are and continue to rename and shift them and make sure that they're not getting overwritten by the installation. So just keep that in mind as we're going here. So in the selection here, we're starting to get quite a few options. I've gone through and tried to rename some of these things to clean this up. But basically the idea is that I am trying to show you what data file is going to be created. So here, for example, the main file is going to be a data 2. We go down a little bit further. We have a data 4, data 5. Now we have a data 6. And we also have a data 3 optional if you choose a language. So again, I apologize for this. We're starting to get a lot of optionals here and it's starting to take up a lot of slots, but that's because I want to try to get this new content to you guys, give you more options, and in the future I'll continue to look at how I can maybe compress and build as we're going, but it's a lot of upkeep, and so for now this is the best path forward to continue to roll out these rapid updates to you guys. So please keep me posted on how that's going. So on this new section, we have the new data 6 section where it says start a new game with a new backstory. And here you'll find 4 different pathways that I've included. There is one other pathway that I've included for the Patreon supporters that is mainly starting out with most of the Patreon content already loaded onto your character, ready to go. So you can kind of dive right in and start doing good stuff right away. For this data 6, all you need to know for now is that I'm continuing to identify interesting backstories and different pathways into the story where you could actually load in and try to maybe in the future even have allies and different companions and different systems that align with what you're choosing here. So I'm still looking at how you can bring that storytelling element into this. For right now, it's just you're selecting your initial kit, but in the future I'm super excited about this idea that you could actually shape part of the game to actually fit your selection here. And I'm going to try to look again in the future to bringing more of this into the actual executable, into the actual settings on the main menu, but for now I'm still inside the installer, so thank you for your patience. So we have a couple of options here. I know a lot of people have requested being able to jump into the game and basically be able to like cheat their way through, go ahead and just, get the skills unlocked, get into the game. I did go ahead and provide that. That is going to be the Doomsday Prepper build. And I apologize, I noticed here that I didn't actually call it the Doomsday Prepper build, so I will make that update here in the future. But this bottom option is basically if you just want to get in the game with all your skills, all your weapons, not all your weapons, but a good selection of weapons, and just get into the nitty gritty of the game, you can choose this option and just dive right in. If you want to go for one that's a little bit more story based, you could do like the Peacekeeper Loyalist. There's the Rugged Warrior, the Military Veteran, and each one of these is kind of pairing off to a backstory. And I'm going to continue to identify what works for the community, what you guys are enjoying. If you want to join the Patreon, thank you again. Huge shout out to all my Patreon supporters. I am currently trying to get their initial feedback and their initial pathways that they would like to see in the game. And we're going to continue to build this system out as we go and get really good backstories built into the game. So I am looking forward to hearing from the community. Please keep me posted on how you like this feature. So once we go ahead and install, so let's go ahead and choose the Peacekeeper Loyalist for now. So if we go ahead and select them, and we won't do any of the other optionals, and I'm going to do Survivor. We're going to hit Next. It's going to summarize all the features that have been selected. Again, we have that path that's added to your desktop. So again, if you want to quickly go into your PH folder, source, and just identify what data files are being used. Again, sorry that it's a good chunk here, but basically I always want to make sure that we're keeping a good eye on what's being installed, because if you come to me with a bug report or have an issue, this is where you're going to need to go. If I say something like, oh, it's probably your data or your custom map optional, I'm referring to this data 5. So the first thing that you're probably going to need to do for testing is remove that data 5 and probably any other ones to get down to just the core mod, which is the data 2. So that way we can figure out what the bug is and get you back up and live. I'm going to go ahead and restore this optional, which is the data 6, which is our new pathways, and let's go ahead and load into the game. Additionally, there's been a lot of other bug fixes that have come with this update. So this is a quality of life update. I really tried to listen to the community and hear what you guys were requesting, go back and cover a lot of the areas of what people were talking about, all the different mods that they were installing, things that they were looking for through their playthrough. This is where I started a gameplay with the Patreon content. We're going to go ahead and start a new game and set that to hard. So what I've tried to do with this latest update is I've gone and I've looked into a lot of the clipping issues with the armor, so a lot of that's been updated. I did go ahead and remove the biomarkers and the bracelets from those arms only in first person because that was notoriously clipping through all custom armor. I also have a new solution for the shoes that the player wears. That's another big one that's always clipping through the actual custom armor. So I did try a new solution with that, so keep me posted on how those look in game. I've also gone through and updated the volatile armor to where the volatiles are now actually getting a better armor set, so they'll actually be able to cover their hands and their feet if you select the volatile Patreon content for now. Again, that's going to keep rolling down, and I'll continue to try to get those updates in to the actual core files. But additionally, some of the other things that have been added, let me show you guys here. So this is a completely custom armor set, and you can see here that we have no clipping on our actual armor now. So when we're in first person, you can actually enjoy your new custom armor. And you can see here that right from the get-go, we're decked out in Peace Armor gear or Peacekeeper gear, along with, I've already added a tier 1 beacon. Again, that's a reinforcement beacon. So if you're in certain parts of the map, this may not work. I'm continuing to identify the spawn system versus the reinforcement system to try to figure out which is better there. There's still a lot of bugs with just the spawn system. It causes them to keep spawning in, and all sorts of different random things have been happening with that. So I've gone ahead and listed the release of or the details of what's in each kit, so please make sure to check the README. But with each one of these, you should at least get more crafting options as well. So right from the get-go, you should unlock a lot of this new modded content that's in the craft that I was using the stash for previously. Let me know how this works for you guys. If you guys don't like this new cluttered approach, you know, I'm happy to remove some of these, but I really wanted to try to get you guys some of these new additional content so that you can enjoy it right from the get-go and you're not having to go search the world for some of it. Additionally, I did go through and remove some of that additional bloat, so there were some additional things in the craft section that were kind of cluttering things where I was doing part of the base building update, and so I did go in and clean some of that up, so that should look a little bit better. There's also been several new bug fixes. Make sure to pay attention to what is in the release log for the very specific details of what's been fixed. But I was happy to get in several new fixes for you guys, and I'm going to continue to do so here coming up. So if we want to go ahead and switch this starter kit, we'll go ahead and jump back down. Again, I want to reiterate, you don't need to actually put the installer anywhere except unpack it. I know one user mentioned the other day that they were like placing it inside of their Dying Light folder. It just needs to go anywhere outside of that archive. You don't actually have to put it inside a specific location. You can just run it. So if we go ahead and select another data 6, let's go ahead and run this. And we'll go ahead and launch again. So if you want to try out the different configs, I'm just trying to show off a very easy way that you'll be able to jump in very quickly, try out the different configs, identify the one that you want to run with, and then from there you can start your game. Additionally, I have updated, so for this case, I'm going to go ahead and just delete this save. We'll go ahead and start a new one. I have also updated the core save game, or not save game, I apologize, the core start files. So if you don't select an optional and you just want to load in, you'll now receive a basic bow and some additional basic gear when you start in, along with these new craft recipes. So again, I've tried to keep those more minimal, so it's not as many things as the different ones. So as you're selecting the different groups, they'll have more content based on the different packs or kits. So like, for example, this is the one that's more, you know, just to get you in the game, that unlocks all your skills, get you immediately in. Because of that, it's going to be more cluttered immediately because it's unlocking so many different things. But some of the kits are more minimal and meant to be less impactful on your actual stash. So you can see here we've got another kit. It's working well to where we don't have the clipping, which is nice. I think for this one, the spike armor though, I don't know if I can do it, but the spike armor, I had to work pretty hard to make sure it didn't clip through the camera here, but I think it's doing pretty well right now. So this is our Doomsday prepper, and he comes with a paraglider as well, so all that's unlocked, and I've also included some new great gear to kind of kick off the game with, so I hope you guys enjoy that. And additionally, some additional explosives and other things to help you in your journey. But really enjoying the idea of starting the gameplay with a bow so that you can take that fight straight to the zombies and you kind of already have, you know, some of these things worked out. So the Doomsday Prepper also comes with the ability to zoom down the scope here, and so that will also be something that you can immediately get. So if you're just looking to kind of play around inside the environment and try new things, this is probably the kit to do it with. I didn't think that would actually work. Additionally, because you have the paraglider, you can actually soar around this area. So you've got the new legendary paraglider, and so you can actually get a pretty good ways around the map. And so I hope you guys have fun exploring the new prologue map with the paraglider. Okay, so that is 2 of the kits, and we'll go ahead and sum it up with the Apex Predator kit, just so you guys kind of see what you're getting. If you got the Patreon content, let me go ahead and grab my Patreon content here. and launch that. Additionally, one of the bigger things that's been asked for by the community, I know this was a big one, was the condition for the weapons. I have added a modifier to all the weapons inside the game, so if you are looking to boost your weapons to make sure that they don't break, I deviated quickly to see if I could actually unlock and create my own little version of the repair system. Does not look like that system is ready to go yet. I think they've still got some things hidden away on the back end. So that will be hopefully coming up here in the next release based on what I'm seeing in the files. But for now, I did add this boost to the condition, so that way you can at least boost your files so you can make sure to have as much damage applied to these weapons as you want before they break. And as a reverse of that, I don't believe you can actually go less. I've actually got the weapons set to where they'll break pretty often, and the vanilla game does as well. So you can currently only increase their durability. You can't currently decrease that durability. Please let me know if that's something that you're looking for. So here's the Apex Predator as well, and you can see it looks like we've got everything set up to where it's no longer clipping, which is great, along with custom gear as well. So with this kit, I've essentially added some of the newer legendary tier weapons as well. So if you want the repeater, you want the different bow and arrows and all that immediately, you can still get those to the stash, but I thought it would be fun to go ahead and give immediate access to this kit for the start of the game. So if you do want to go ahead and begin your reign of terror on the zombies, you can go ahead and kind of get started without having to get to that stash kit. So you don't have to worry about that Banshee anymore. You can go ahead and get past her a little bit easier. Additionally, I did include the inhalers as well. Those are pretty critical for this play the zombie mode. So if you actually want some of those additional features, make sure to take that inhaler, and that will make getting across this map a lot easier. So if you're also just trying to jump through the prologue really quickly, you can actually do that pretty quick with this this inhaler in tow. Matter of fact, let me see if I can just kind of like... I also have the hook here. I don't know if any of these terrains have actually been set up for this though.
Try again.
Okay, there we go. So like, what if I just jump up here? I haven't actually tried this before, folks, so I apologize. I thought I'd try this live. Let's see if we can get past this first part. Nah, they've got it to where all that's restricted so you can't climb up. I bet if you spend enough time trying to get around it, you could probably find some area here where they left in the climb data. But anyway, apologize. So please keep me posted on how you guys like the pathway system. Super excited about this new feature. In addition, there's also a new basic bow recipe. So as you're now starting out your new game, you should be able to get the new basic bow recipe unless I've traded it out for the crossbow recipe. Some of the pathways I'm also trying to kind of pick whether or not they're bow or crossbow, so you can still find those crafting materials out in the world, but there is now a basic bow kit so that you can continue to build a weaker bow. With the weaker bow, without doing the increased conditioning, you get probably about 12 shots using that bow before it breaks. So the idea is that you use scrap and leather to kind of continue to build new bows. I am continuing to work on new crafting components and making that more realistic. I've got a few fun and kind of gory details there with actually using like sinew and that kind of thing to make bowstring. It's going to be kind of fun, but also looking at trying to keep the crafting panel as light as possible so that that doesn't get too busy. So continue to look into that. Again, looking for your guys' feedback. I appreciate you guys always jumping on and letting me know how things are going. So let me make sure there's no last notes here. In addition, there was a bug where the prologue zombies weren't actually using the Ultimate Survivor to run. That has been updated, so the new Ultimate Survivor or the new Ultimate Survivor version and the prologue zombies, they should actually run at the player now. And as you can see with the clipping, that was actually a huge step in the right direction. I'm super excited to see how you guys like that, and hopefully can start using those custom armors without as much clipping. And then additionally, I boosted some of the health kits along with reducing some of the electrical damage based on community feedback. Okay guys, it's been great talking with you guys again. Look forward to releasing the next update. I did also put out the new roadmap. Please make sure to check out what's coming up with I Am Legion, and super excited to get this game or this mod over to you guys on both Dead Island 1, Dying Light 1, Dying Light 2, and soon to come Dead Island 2, which is also moddable. So stay tuned, lots more stuff coming. Appreciate you guys' support. Look forward to talking to you guys next time. Happy gaming.